You can take away their cell phones and turn off their computers. But the fact is, texting and online social networking have become a pervasive part of almost every teenager's life. Where does the church fit into this new community? Let's welcome Bishop Jeffrey Lee from the Episcopal Diocese of Chicago. We also welcome Sawyer Hill from St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Glen Ellen and Michael Beagle from St. Christosom's Episcopal Church in Chicago. What made you get a Facebook account?
I got a Facebook account because a lot of my friends were on it, especially friends that were not close to me, physically close to me. So it's an easier way to keep in contact with them as opposed to calling them. They might be there. I can leave messages for later.
What responsibility did your parents instill in you when you decided to get the account?
When I decided to get the account or make the account, they told me to be careful, mainly because I knew that anyone could look at what I was writing. So whether that be being careful what I post because it might be used against me, or I just needed to be careful because it could create an unsafe situation.
Do you feel like it's easy to reach out when you see people misusing Facebook in a way that could hurt like your friends?
Facebook makes it easier to talk about anything to anyone, but I mean, there are some topics, like if you're misusing Facebook, you know, you kind of have to tell your friend to be a good person to them.
It's difficult to say to stop, but you know you have to, especially if someone is going to get hurt from it.
I think it's one of the tasks that the community of faith, that the church really needs to undertake, with young people in particular, but not only young people, not just teenagers at all, is to help think through what those appropriate boundaries are and how to do that work of keeping each other safe. I think that's a prime responsibility for the church. Keeping folks safe is one of the things we're all about.
Does your church use social media?
Yes, we do have a Facebook page. My church does. They don't update it very often, but they're able to post up schedules and things like that.
Is that what you think they could do better?
Yeah, I mean, I think they could definitely do that better. And
why do you want them to do better at that?
Because, I mean, I'm going to check my Facebook first before I check my email. So if they have an announcement to make, I'd rather get it on Facebook than email.
You know, it's one of the reasons I don't have a Facebook page, to the chagrin of every teenager in the Diocese of Chicago who are on me constantly. But I know my own patterns, and if I'm not going to be on there updating it regularly, I think I'm better off not having one. What do you think?
I kind of agree with that, because people do get kind of frustrated if someone isn't replying. I mean, personally, my church does have a Facebook page, but they don't update it constantly, and only a few people maintain it. So I can't really learn anything from it, but it's still there and kind of a group, and they might post, especially parishioners will post things on there.
What are the social consequences that accompany using Facebook, and do you believe that there should be a different set of ethical standards or morals that go along with using this type of social environment?
I think that if you're going to say something negative towards someone, or if something is going to happen, you should be held to the same standards as if you were saying it in person. It's the same thing that you're saying, it's the same effect, but sometimes people like to hide behind their computers and think that it's all right to say it, but it really isn't. Either way, that person should understand.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that because Facebook is so much less personal than walking up to someone and saying something, I think people think it's almost easier to be mean to someone when you're just writing it from a computer rather than going up to their face and talk to them.
Absolutely. The same anonymity or the same sort of distance technology allows the benefit of communicating with a lot of people very, very quickly also leads to some real damage possibility. In the news accounts, you don't have to look very far to see the really devastating effects of rumors and misuse of this technology. So absolutely the same standards have to apply, if not more stringent ones, really.
What types of solutions do you think we can offer to problems as far as misuse, bullying, people just literally getting addicted to it and just sitting there not doing what they're supposed to be doing? What do you think some of those solutions could be?
You know, I think the antidote is community itself.
Community.
Yeah, face to face. I really know you. I will really have to actually be in the same room with you. We need to work on that together.
So do you still believe that going to church as a youth is important?
A big part of church is the community. So if you were just there, just listening to a preacher talk to you, give you lessons, it would never have the same effect on me. So I think that church relies on community.
Do you believe the same, that it's relevant to go?
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and I think that's a good statement, that church really is about community and being together with people that you might not even know, but you're all praying for the same cause. So,
what the technology can do, in a way, is extend that community further, and than we could ever do face to face. There are ways to invite people to discover community, ways to share messages that are important to the community, way beyond what we could do. I know a priest who's at one of our cathedrals in the Episcopal Church who has like 6,000 hits on his blog every week. That's more people than he could ever preach to physically. It's a great tool.
Do you believe it's the responsibility of the church to delve into the social network and maybe become a bigger part of it, and also help set some ethical standards and rules around it?
I do. I think we have a real role to play, and I think if we don't make use of social networks, we're missing a huge opportunity to spread the good news that is ours to share.
Thank you, Bishop Lee, Sawyer, and Michael, for joining us today. I'm Tamara Love for Different Drummers. Keep the faith.